If you're running a direct-to-consumer brand, you know the feeling. Getting your amazing product into your customers' hands is, well, it's everything. But here's the thing. What starts as a pretty simple trip to the post office can, and usually does, spiral into your single biggest operational headache. Today, we're going to dig into exactly how outbound logistics morphs from a physical problem into a really complex software problem you absolutely have to solve.
Oh man, remember those first few orders? The thrill, right? You were probably printing labels from your own printer, packing every single box with a personal thank you note. You knew every customer by name. It was totally manageable. It was actually fun.
But then, you hit that inflection point. Suddenly it's 1,000 orders, then 10,000. And that hands-on, personal approach, it doesn't just fail to scale, it becomes literally impossible. And this is the whole point. At scale, logistics stops being about moving boxes around. It becomes about managing data and orchestrating massive complexity with software.
Okay, so let's just set the scene for a second. In the very beginning, the whole process is, well, it's tangible. You can touch it, you can feel it, and you are right smack in the middle of all of it.
And this just captures it perfectly, doesn't it? You're the warehouse manager, you're the fulfillment expert, you're even the delivery driver. Every single decision is yours to make, and every package is literally in your hands. This is where we all start.
So, what happens when things start to take off? Well, that trusty spreadsheet, you know the one you use for tracking absolutely everything, it just starts to buckle under the pressure. It becomes a major source of errors, a huge bottleneck, and honestly, a massive waste of time. This is the first big red flag that your purely physical process is breaking. And these are the headaches that just start popping up everywhere. All of a sudden, you're just guessing at shipping costs, you're burning hours comparing a dozen different carrier websites, and your inbox is full of customers asking, "Hey, where's my order?" because you have zero real-time visibility. Every single one of these problems is just eating away at your profit margin and your sanity.
This is the moment where software makes its grand entrance. To get a handle on all that chaos, you need a central brain for your entire shipping operation, and that's where the Transportation Management System, or TMS, comes in.
So, what on earth is a TMS? Well, think of it like your logistics command center. Instead of trying to juggle a bunch of spreadsheets and carrier websites, a TMS gives you one single platform to see and manage everything. It automatically finds you the best shipping rates, it lets you execute the shipment digitally, and it shows you where that package is in real time. And look at this table. The contrast is just so stark. When you're doing it manually, you're always playing catch-up, right? You're making calls, you're checking websites. With a TMS, the whole process becomes automated and proactive. It shops for the best rates for you. It gives you one place to see everything, and it actively helps you control costs. It's a total game changer.
Okay, so a TMS helps you get your packages out the door super efficiently. Great. But what about that final, most expensive, and most complicated part of the whole journey? I'm talking about that last mile to your customer's doorstep. At scale, this becomes an unbelievably complex puzzle.
I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. It's not just about the shortest distance. You've got to deal with specific delivery time windows, live traffic, how much your truck can hold. And it's not even just the route. It's the order you load the truck, what's called load sequencing. The last package to be delivered has to be the first one you put in. If you get that wrong for 1,000 packages, your driver's going to waste hours just digging for the right box. This is basically a version of the famous traveling salesman problem, and a human with a spreadsheet just has no chance of solving it well at this scale.
The answer, of course, is another layer of software, dynamic route optimization. And this isn't about just creating one static route for the day and hoping for the best. No, this is about using artificial intelligence to constantly recalculate the best possible path, reacting in real time to what's actually happening out there on the streets.
So here's a quick breakdown of how this magic actually happens. First, the software pulls in all of your order data. Then it layers on all this live information, like a sudden traffic jam on the freeway. After that, it runs these incredibly complex algorithms to figure out the best route and pushes it directly to the driver's phone. And get this, if a new high-priority order comes in, the system can reroute the nearest driver on the fly. It's amazing. Now, I know this might all sound a little futuristic, but trust me, it's happening right now, today. So let's take a look at how two very different giants are using software to absolutely master logistics on a massive scale. First up, let's talk about JioMart in India. They were facing this enormous challenge. How in the world do you offer fast delivery across a huge country, including thousands of smaller towns and cities? Their solution was a brilliant online to offline, or O2O model.
So here's the key thing. JioMart isn't trying to build a million of its own warehouses. Instead, they use a central hub to supply thousands of existing local neighborhood shops. So when you place an order on the app, the software intelligently routes your order to the nearest shop, and that shop handles the final delivery. It's a software-driven network that transforms local infrastructure into this massive, decentralized last-mile delivery machine. So clever.
All right, now let's pivot from a regional innovator to a global titan, DHL. For them, the challenge is just sheer mind-boggling scale. We're talking about managing staggering e-commerce volumes across more than 220 countries. To even attempt this, they lean heavily on software-driven automation.
And this number just perfectly illustrates the impact. By standardizing their automation, they've managed to get a 5-fold increase in productivity. We're not talking about a 5% or 15% bump here, we're talking 500%. That is the incredible power of a software-first strategy.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here it is, straight from their global COO. It's not just about going faster, it's about being more accurate, having better visibility, and even improving the work environment for their employees by saving them from walking 12 kilometers a day around the warehouse floor.
Let's just put some hard numbers on that. As you can see on this chart, in a manual process, a worker might sort maybe 20 units an hour. But with their robotic sortation system, DHL is processing over 100. That's a throughput increase of more than 300%, and all of it is being orchestrated by the software that manages the robots.
So, we've seen how software can solve the huge problem of getting goods out the door and to the customer. We've automated how we pick carriers, we've optimized the delivery route, but all this progress just brings us to the next big frontier of the problem.
Your TMS and your routing software have made that outbound truck journey a work of art. The truck knows exactly where it's going, the most efficient way to get there. It's just perfect. But here is the million-dollar question. How do you make sure that everything happening inside the warehouse is perfectly synchronized with what's happening outside? How do you guarantee the right orders are picked, packed, and loaded just in time for that perfectly optimized truck to arrive? Well, that takes another layer of software intelligence, something called a Warehouse Execution System, or WES, which orchestrates all the people and robots inside the four walls. And that is a story for our next explainer.